Breaking news.
Drama! Yes, drama when it comes to Manchester United.
It's all kicking off.
Man United won't break the bank for him. And if Man United won't break the bank for him, they've got other targets.
Are Man United finally going to bid for Carlos Baleba? Are Man United finally going to stop talking through intermediaries and go to Brighton direct, go to Paul Barber, go to Tony Bloom and them, man, and say, listen, here's your offer. Here's money down on the table. Well, it very much so looks like that, as Fabrizio Romano has backed up what this new reporters, what these new guys have been saying. Indy Kayla, no one wants to give them credit, but these guys said this a couple of days ago, that Man United are ready in their approach to Brighton. They're ready to get serious. The talking is done, and they want to put some money down on the table. Still a difficult deal to do, but I'm telling you, if we get Baleba, I'm going to move mad. I am. Not stupid, not like we're in the title race now and this, that, and the other, but that is a game-changing signing. And I mean game-changing signing. So listen, I want to hear from you guys, man. Let me know, what should that first bid look like? Should it just be straight, make sure you get to 100 mil? Are you feeling this whole 80 mil with some add-ons? Is that going to cut it, or are you scared these men are going to walk out the door like when you do a wrong deal in EAFC? I need to know what you lot are saying, man. Let's get into this. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Loads to get into, of course. First Baleba bid. Sancho, out of the blue. Roma, bid in. Bid has come in, totaling a maximum of £20 million as well. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, the Premier League starts this evening. But in a couple of days, we take on the Arsenal. Yeah, the Arsenal. All right?
Get over the line.
The Arsenal. Get over the line. We take on the Arsenal.
I tell you what, for things I didn't expect to see yesterday, I saw. Oh, Flex won't be able to. Things I didn't expect to see yesterday, Flex. Lee Judge is holding a squirrel. Did you see that? Yeah,
I did. I finished the AFTV. And did he take a picture with it, did he, in the end?
It was on Josh's Instagram story.
It was crazy.
He's holding a squirrel.
Yeah, I got outside. I finished box to box with Turkish, and I saw Lee Judges beforehand because he was filming their Bias show or whatever. I can't remember the name. Yeah, Bias. And then he sees me, goes, "Oh, what are you doing here? You ruined my set." I swear to you, it was exactly like this. I'm not even exaggerating for the Lee Judges thing. He goes, "Oh," I goes, "Right, Lee. Oh, you ruined my summer. You lost to that lot. You lost the European final. Oh, to that lot. You shouldn't even be walking at that. You should be in. You should be in." I said, "Lee, well, we've lost to them. Should be easy game for you on Sunday, shouldn't it?" "Well, you lot always do half. I tell you what, half mind you lot always do turn up against us, don't you? So I'll be there. And then later on after that, yes, I finished that. And then outside, everyone was just gathering around this squirrel. I was kind of fascinated as well, by the way, because you know what squirrels are like. As soon as you go near them, they're off. Like, you can't see a squirrel.
You can't.
Like,
you don't get close to them, do you? No.
Can't get close to them. They're like one of the fastest things going.
Yeah.
And this little squirrel was just stuck, just not moving, really slow, lethargic. I said, that's sad. And then people were like touching it, and I go, careful, might get rabies. Probably shouldn't touch it. Don't.
Germs. Yeah. I was going to say it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones.
And they're like, no. No,
pretty sure they're vermin, aren't they? You know what I mean? They say.
Yeah, they're in the. Usually, you see them coming out the bins and that from getting shit. And
wow, and they say you got to be
on top
careful.
of bins. And,
chew through like power lines and
So I weren't really on that whole like, oh, lovely. Obviously, it was clearly in need, and it was good that there was a few Dr. Doolittles about who were on that, but not me, mate. I was from afar. Oh, that's interesting. Never seen a squirrel that close, and I left. But yeah. Anyway, we've got football. We've got football. We've got football.
Football to talk about, Flex. We've also got likes to talk about. We've already got 1,000 people watching. We're just under 200 likes already. So if you haven't already, click that like button. And a reminder that you've only got 1 day left. 1 day left, about 24 hours or so, to be the final one standing to win possibly up to £500,000. Here's how.
You guys are always talking about football scholars and ball knowledge. Well, now's the time to stop the talk and prove it. Could you predict the Premier League if we gave you £500,000 to do it? The rules are simple. Pick one Premier League team each week. If they win, you're through to the next round. But if they lose or they draw, you're gone. Finito. You're done. Once you've played a team once, you can't use them again. So there's no rinsing out the favourites. And the best part of it is, it's completely free to play with 500 grand up for grabs. Yes, £500,000. So turn your predictions into picks. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the video description below to get involved.
18 plus, UK and Ireland only.
And please, gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply, and full terms are in the link below.
There you have it. There you have it. Final one standing. 1 day to go, as you can see it there. You've got up to 12:29 p.m. tomorrow to lock in your predictions for this round of games. Of course, 20 teams. You've got to pick one. You can only pick one, and if they lose or draw, you are a goner. And if they win, you get to stay in for the next round. Let's pull up very quickly, Owen, what the picks are looking like, who you're looking like you're going to go with. What's the crack here? What are you saying to me?
Well, so if you go to, obviously, the William Hay website, and you can see it right there, final one standing, you click that, the game pops up. Of course, you can do this on your phone as well. And people have doubted me. People have said, oh, and you're a bullshitter. And I've gone, you're absolutely right, I'm a bullshitter. But when it comes to final one standing, not so much. You can see my pick. Sunderland, yeah, the picks
Sunderland, Owen, that's a risk, man.
Sunderland, yeah, that's
Owen, you
my
can't
pick.
be out first game of the week.
And I tell you what, Robbie's a disgrace. Look at his team of the week, Tottenham.
Yeah,
Robbie's
but he might change that because
Tottenham.
yesterday he was saying after the final, he was like, actually, nah, I might change that up. I might change that. That is a good thing. You can change it up until 12:29. There were some stats yesterday off the top of my head. I think like 8,000 people went with Man United to beat Arsenal. 12,000 people have gone with Arsenal. So you can see how very easily there's going to be people just wiped out of this thing. I actually predicted West Ham to beat Sunderland. First, I was like, yeah, Sunderland going to do it. Yeah, first game, Black Cap. But then I was like, you get this sometimes where the team that comes out spent a lot of money, you go, our stadium's going to be rocking. Then after the first 10, 15 minutes, people just activate. All of a sudden, Bowen just, championship defense, just going at them. Paquetá does something wicked, or James Ward-Prowse free kick. And all of a sudden, they go all levels. Like, Wan-Bissaka's not going to care whoever left winger is for Sunday. He's going to take the ball off him. Like, I don't know. It's
a difficult opening round to predict, isn't it? It's a difficult opening round to predict because, like I said, a lot of them are. Burnley. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would have based off what happened, midweek, because obviously they did so well against PSG. But maybe that would be a bit of a hangover.
Robbie was trying to say that. He was like, nah,
and
that would take a lot out of them. It's still only 90 minutes. It's Burnley just coming up. Scott Parker from the. Come on, man. That's a banker for me.
Well, so I'm going to go Spurs. You're going to go Spurs. No, I'm going to go with. I'm going to look, and this is the good thing. Look, it's free to play. I'm not losing out. Yeah, I'm not losing out. Sure. It's free to play. All you have to do is literally, if you got an account, I literally just clicked play, and then that was it.
Imran says, like I say, City should beat Wolves, but first
they should. But you don't know. You don't know.
It's a way.
I acknowledge I'm taking a risk with Sunderland, but it's one of those ones that if I pull it off, then I'm in really good. If you use your opening pick on Sunderland, you're in a good position. Then you're in a good position. So I'm taking a risk, Fleck. Taking a risk.
Okay, right. There you go.
There you go. But as always, folks, remember 18 plus, UK and Ireland only. Please gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply, and full terms are, as always, in the link below. Now, Flex, Baleba. We're becoming more of a Baleba because a bid could be incoming. And we had heard that if a bid is incoming, then United are confident that they could actually pull this deal off this summer. So Fabrizio Romano, very late last night actually, said that Manchester United were set to approach Brighton as they prepare an opening proposal for Carlos Baleba. Specifically what he said, this was part of his YouTube video as well, he said that Manchester United keep working on this Carlos Baleba deal. The sales of the likes of Garnacho, or as Culture Camps say, Garnacho, Anthony, Jadon Sancho could be key for a higher bid. It's going to cost a pretty penny to get Carlos Baleba, but if we sell all of those players, it just might be possible. And after the developments yesterday with Jadon Sancho, 20 million quid plus the 5 million loan fee we got for Chelsea, that's 25. Garnacho on his way to Chelsea could be about 45 million quid. That's pure profit. Then you're looking at sort of Anthony, maybe he goes as well. So suddenly that Baleba deal, with any little bit of money we got left in the budget might actually be feasible. Now, an initial approach to discuss with Brighton reportedly is ready. The deal, like they keep saying, is difficult. Brighton want to keep the player and they want to sell him eventually next year, but Baleba is keen on the move. Now, this is an interesting one as well. Sully Talks, who's one of these ITK accounts, decent track record, saying that Man United and Brighton had these club-to-club talks yesterday regarding Carlos Baleba. No agreement reached, despite some reports. There was a report that came out of Cameroon yesterday that was saying like a deal had been done, and a lot of people actually very quickly came out. I saw Nathan Salt said the same from the Daily Mail, that was a bit quite far-fetched. It wasn't too super accurate. Interestingly, they didn't shoot down the reports from Indicalia, but they shot down the reports about a deal being agreed, which I think is quite curious. But Baleba, super keen on the move. More talks are to follow with both the club and the player. Still seen, once again, as a complicated deal.
And before you carry on, and if you just go back one, to Romano, because someone did put this in the chat, which was interesting, that he's phrased it differently on X versus Instagram. So I've just got the Instagram post before you get to the next post, just to give a bit of context on the Romano thing. Because, okay, that's what it says there. Man United keep working on Carlos Baleba deal salaries. Sales, Garnacho, Anthony Sancho could be key for higher bid. But on Instagram, the way he's put it, because he's put initial approach to discuss with Brighton ready, is what he's written on X. But on Instagram, he's put Man United set to approach Brighton as they prepare opening proposal to try and make deal happen. He gives a bit more oomph of it. And then he does say, obviously, deal remains difficult. Brighton insists to keep Carlos eventually selling talent midfield in 2026. But Manchester United want to try also based on sales. So it is, I'm not, just to say, in case anyone was confused, it is the same thing he's saying, but you might see set to approach Brighton as they prepare opening proposal rather than initial approach to discuss with Brighton ready. You know what I mean? It's slightly different worded. So, but overall, I think with the two posts, you come to the conclusion that Man United are ready in their first steps towards Brighton, which is a bid. You should imagine.
And
well,
again,
an approach, is it a bid? Or is it the first approach to Bloom and Barber to say, right, we're ready to bid. What do you want? I think it could be that, you know.
Yeah, it could be a bit of both. And then again, this kind of comes after what Kelly was saying yesterday, which again, the reputation of if this is reliable or not continues to be discussed because, of course, about 48 hours ago, Fletcher did the video on it saying that this bid was imminent after a board meeting, saying that United had this meeting. Ruben Amorim was insistent, got to get Carlos Baleba. The club's credit facility is in place, so they're ready to make a move. They're ready to make a bid. And United is about to test Brighton's patience with an official bid. Now, obviously, still, there is a lot of skepticism surrounding how reliable that account is and what have you. But no one shot it down. And then 48 hours later, we then get reports from Fabrizio Romano, very credible people, saying that, they are preparing to approach Brighton and possibly discuss what a bid could possibly look like. So, again, is it one of those ones where Indicalia just sort of went, well, this is probably what I think is going to happen, so I'll just put it out there and, then it is turned out to be correct? Or have they heard something because that source on this Baleba deal specifically is accurate? I don't know. Either way, it looks like United at least going to try flex. They're going to try and put a bid in.
This is again, because you have to, temper expectations. All this is the reason why we're still here believing. That's it. That, you can't really go any further than that. And this is why I'm so comfortable in when Indicalia speak about this, I'm giving it the same energy. I keep saying it wrong. Indicalia or Indicalia?
Either or. I think it might be
Kayla. Bring it up. Let's just actually look at the word. When sometimes you think, what is it?
It's definitely not India, Kalia.
No, it's not India. It's definitely Indy. Kayla. Right, that's Kayla. That's Kayla. 100%. Right, yeah, that's not Kayla. Right. Yeah. So Indy Kayla. So I said I've been so consistent on that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they, went early. And Ornstein co-signed him. And then, like I said, even literally this time yesterday morning, I said, even if you don't take Indicala's word for it, Ornstein has backed it up. You know what I mean? So again, if you didn't take Indicala's word for it yesterday when I did that video on the way in TalkSports when the news was breaking that a bid's imminent, well, take Fabrizio Romano's word for it then, whichever one you want, until you start actually giving them a bit of credit in this running, until they don't deserve the credit, or until it's, well, they had a good run, or the streets won't forget. Until it's that, it's this. And they keep reporting more developments before the big boys. That's how it's going. That's 2 now.
Yeah, well, and also, like, Danny Luciano says in the chat, please stop referencing you guys. It was one thing. And I think you make a good point there. Now. You make a good point there, Flex, to be fair, which is, okay, then, if we just say then we're not going to disregard that, don't listen to it. It's not reputable, regardless of what Ornstein said, regardless because of the history, the parody, and all that kind of stuff. Romano's now said, if we're just focused on the top boys, and you go, I only listen to Ornstein and Romano. Romano said that the Man United they're gonna put together to go to Brighton and say, let's talk, let's do it. So don't even talk about Indy. We're talking about now we're talking about Fabrizio. Fabrizio saying, yeah, United, they're ready to make an approach to see if they can put this bid in. And David Ornstein, I think it was 2-3 days ago, was like, Man United will only bid if they feel like they're not worried about the player wanting to join, but they will only bid if they feel like they can do a deal. So this would suggest once again that United have heard something to tell them this is possible, this is feasible. We've got some kind of noise or some kind of signal over the last couple of days that we think we can pull this off. Now, has that signal specifically come from Brighton, or has it come from actually more the exit side of things at Old Trafford? We'll talk about Sancho in a bit, but Sancho looks like actually that what he might actually go, and we might actually have some obligation money, whatever that actually looks like. But then Garnacho as well. That's a pure profit sale. We keep forgetting that. That's a pure profit sale. So from a PSR point of view, okay, that opens up things quite significantly. And we still don't know what Manchester United's budget actually was this summer in general, because we signed Mateus Cunha, and that was based off last year's account. So the 2 signings on this year's accounts are Brian Mbeumo and Benjamin Šeško. The Šeško deal, we didn't even think we had money to do that. And suddenly we're going, that's a bit of a large outlay for a club that's got no money. So at this point, we don't know how much we've got left over or don't have left over. Now, it probably isn't £100 million to go bid on Carlos Baleba, but if it's like halfway there, if it's sort of like a 40 or 50 million, or there's a little bit of money left over, there's a bit more money than people think left over, then if you do sell Garnacho, if you do sell for Garnacho for, let's say, 40, 50, whatever it is, if you do sell Jadon Sancho for about 20, 25 overall, suddenly that's 70 million quid plus what you've already got, and that's enough.
Exactly. We think it'll be enough.
That could be enough to go get Carlos Baleba, or at least start testing the resolve of Brighton and start moving it forward. So suddenly go, yeah, the deal is very feasible. It's just a case of if Brighton want to sell, and Brighton have always gone on the record of like, we don't want to sell, but we're not that club to say that any player's priceless, because that's ridiculous.
If the valuation is met, I think they'll sell him. It's whether we can convince them to be slightly south of that valuation. Do you know what I mean? That's the
structure of the deal. The structure of the deal.
or the structure of the deal. Like, if you can you let us have quite a few add-ons here? We'll give you 80 up front, 75 up front. But the deal will, Liverpool got to 150, but they put 100 up front. That's 50 million of add-ons. That's a lot of add-ons. Yeah. I think it'll have to be something along those lines. Here's 75, 80 now. We're going to give you the other 20 to 25 over the next XYZ. So we will total a package of 100 million. It will get reported as that 100 million, or then they'll flip it into euros and dollars. So all of a sudden it'll be $150 million or whatever the crazy thing is. Don't care. Yeah. Let's just stick to the pounds. I think if we can give them a package that totals 100 million over the course of X amount of years, then great. But like Franklin says there, Brighton are the toughest negotiators, should I say. It's whether they go for that. I think if you give them a high enough fee up front, it could satisfy them. It's all about that. It's all about that fee up front, man. Because if it's too low and it's going to take too long to get to the 100, they're not going to get their 100 million until bloody 5 years down the line, or it's not enough up front, they're just going to say, no, he's not worth 62.5 million. He's not worth 68 million now. What you do? No, we want 80 now or 85 now.
What we're saying as well is this is the other part of it, and you want to talk about intent and ambition from Ineos. Let's face it, if we sign Carlos Baleba in this transfer window, we are going to have to break our transfer record. Our transfer record is Paul Pogba, 89.3 million pounds, I think the fee is, right? I know people like to always go, it was 100 million. It was 100 million euro, wasn't it? But it was 80 in pounds. It was like around 89 million pounds. If Man United sign Carlos Baleba, they will break that transfer record.
And that's where it gets crazy, Owen, of where remember I was saying the other day where none of us are really going, do we want a 100 million? Is that what 100 million gets? Should we do that? No one saying. And you want to talk about ambition, and you would not be able to question Ineos, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's ambition if we break our transfer record and also buy Cunha and Bumo, Sheshko in a transfer window. If you're Ruben Amorim, you can't be like, well, I can't deliver. I haven't got the players or anything like that. You've got to be like, mate, you've been absolutely bad. It will be smashed. You know what I mean? It'll be absolutely smashed. So, and that's what it will take. Brighton. Is it right then? Is that right, Owen? Can we just go rewind a second? How do we all feel about the 100 million? I want to bring it up again because nobody's talking about it because everyone's just like, he's good. We need him. That's just going rate, pay it. But like you just said, when you break it down like that, Owen, I just think we need to pause. I think we need to actually discuss this bit, just one specific bit. Should we be breaking our transfer window now in this transition for someone who's 21? Looks great, on top of the money we've spent. Like, should we be going that big now when, finances might be tight or this, that, and the other? Is this the best thing to do? 100 million record transfer fee.
Let's see the transfer records in the Prem, right? Because I'm just thinking, like, someone put it in there that unfortunately this is becoming sort of normality, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's becoming kind of normality. It's becoming just par for the course, isn't it? Of like, the top teams are spending 100 million quid, aren't they? Really on players. I mean, the record in terms of the transfer fee, the highest player bought in the Premier League was this summer with Florian Wirtz going from Leverkusen to Liverpool. They've got it in euros on transfer market, 125 million euros. So that's Liverpool. They've done one. Chelsea, there was the second one. Enzo Fernandez, 121 million euros. So Chelsea, they've done one. Jack Grealish.
Caicedo as well. They've done Caicedo.
Yeah. Jack Grealish, Man City, of course, 100 million quid. So they've done one. Arsenal, Declan Rice, about the same price, about 100 million quid. They've done one. Chelsea for Caicedo, 116 million quid. They've done one. So you've got there Chelsea, Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. Just coincidentally, people think that's going to be the top four this season. They've all done 100 million pound signings, and in the way that it's going. And I know you could say, like, how many of them are going to pay off? How many of them did pay off? Jack Grealish has just gone to Everton. That's a flop. But actually, I mean, we'll have to wait and see with Florian Wirtz. He hasn't even played a Premier League game yet. But you could make an argument out of those five. Caicedo, you would say, is value for money now at this point, right? Yeah, Caicedo. Yeah. Declan Rice, to be fair, since kind of day one, he's been value for money for Arsenal. Yeah. Grealish, flop. Absolute flop. Not worked out.
But then on paper, what he's collected, he's won the treble.
Yeah. But then you sort of go, how instrumental was he? But you're right, he got the medals, I suppose. Yeah. But
he'll leave it to say, show us your medals, and he'll leave it that. Yeah. But it was
interestingly enough, Enzo Fernandez, for the longest time, you'd have been like, absolutely not. Maybe just now you're sort of going, he's quite instrumental in that team. Still, the fact that, he's close to like 100, well, it's 121 million euros. That's what? That's over 100 million pounds. Yeah. I don't know about that in terms of value for money, but, you could make it. He's their captain now, isn't he? He's, after Reece James. So, he's
starting to show something. He's starting to show something
important. So those ones are starting to get value for money, but would Carlos Baleba fit into that category?
Like, would he
every
have that type
transfer's
of impact?
but maybe you never know. You never know.
It
Every
depends, and
transfer's
this
a
is where it
risk.
depends on the team. This is where it depends on the team and the success of the team. Now, you could say since Caicedo's gone there for 100 million, and Enzo Fernandez, what have they won? They won a Conference League. Did they win?
I won Club World
FA
Cup, mate.
Club World Cup.
Club World Cup paid for himself.
So you're saying now, there you go. So you've got a bit of recent success to match those, and you've got a sort of upward trajectory where the way you look on the signings starts to change because you're going in the right direction. You know, you've got Cole Palmer now, you add Enzo into that, you've got João Pedro. You're starting to look like a proper team. That's where it you know, you look at Declan Rice, you know, now for however much we laugh at Arsenal second again, LA probably won't win the league again this year, but they look like a proper team now, and he looks like a proper player, you know, club and country. If you couple the money with an upwards trajectory of the team, it becomes less of a talking point. Like I said, people don't. So if Carlos Baleba comes in for £100 million and we end up finishing 6th, maybe dare to dream, and we finish 5th, getting the Champions League, but we finish 6th. Yeah. And we start, you know, we win more than we lose, obviously, because we're 6th and we're looking all right and things. Sesko's scored quite a few goals. You see, it won't be the same as like if he comes in for 100 million,
we finish
10th. It finished 10th. And it's like, Ruben's hanging on by a thread here. There's talk to go. Like, and he just wasted 100 million on Carlos, but he didn't look that good. It just changes everything. Where if Carlos Baleba went to bloody City or went to Arsenal or went to Liverpool or wherever and played alongside Gravenberch, and it would be...
Because he says going into an already half-decent team, you feel like it could be transformational because everything around it is... It's the phrase, you know, high tides raise all ships, in the sense that, you know, if the problem is we don't really have a ship or a cruise liner. We have, you know, a Titanic. You know what I mean? It's already sunk. You know, can it even be resurrected? And I suppose the concern financially comes into when I scroll down on those record arrivals in the Premier League, and Man United haven't spent over £100 million on a player, but they've spent big fees on players pretty close to 100 million. And I'll just name them. So you got Lukaku, 84 million euros. Jadon Sancho, 85 million euros. Harry Maguire, 87 million euros. Anthony, 95 million euros. And of course, Paul Pogba, just over 100 million euros. So that's all just under 100 million quid. And all of those players, Pogba's gone. Anthony we're trying to sell. Maguire's last year's of his contract. They think he might end up staying, but significantly less in terms of salary. And he's not a key instrumental player. Jadon Sancho, he's on his way out for like 20 million. And Lukaku, I mean, he's moved on like 2 or 3 times since then. So our track record of spending big and those players staying long term and actually benefiting us, well, we don't really have a track record of it.
I'm just looking at Chris Nightingale. He's a reporter for Brighton. Well, he's a reporter for Sky, but he's just got some of the quotes here from what Herzl said half an hour ago, or he's posted up 18 minutes ago and half an hour ago, respectively. The half an hour ago, he tweeted, Carlos Baleba is at Brighton training ground this morning. He's not leaving and is happy here. If he's fit, his knee injury, he plays tomorrow. Then he's got a picture of Herzl in the presser. It says Fabian Herzl is very confident Carlos Baleba will be a Brighton player this season. Is that yeah, freelance? Is that? Yeah, Chris. It's a real player. Yeah, followed by Diamond. So there's a little bit of an update there from, you know, yeah, we'll be back at Brighton this morning at 9 a.m. So yeah, so they've done their presser at 9 a.m. nice and early. And Chris Nightingale is saying that Carlos Baleba is at Brighton training ground this morning. He is not leaving and is happy here. If he's fit, because of his knee, in brackets, he plays tomorrow. And Fabian Herzl is very confident Carlos Baleba will be a Brighton player this season. So that's the Brighton side of it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where, you know, you say that or whatever, but even that can be, because again, how we know how these things go. You talk to your media person before you go out there. What if they ask you about Carlos? He's just going to be a Brighton player. You're comfortable with the situation because that's what all the reports are. The reports are still that Brighton are comfortable. They don't want to sell him. And as of right now, he's probably told, yeah, I mean, unless Man United bid 100 million, which, again, Man United might, we'll see. We can't be like, you know, I tell you what, Brighton, they drive a hard bargain and they negotiate really well. And then when a manager comes out and drives a hard bargain and they act very calm and say he's not for sale, be like, oh, it's definitely not going to happen then. Well, of course. Of course, it's what Brighton do. You know, that's what Brighton do. So I would assume at the moment he's very, very calm, and he's like, "Yeah, it's going to stay. Yeah, well, you know, it's fine. You know, I'm confident." That's yeah. He says Simon Stone's quote tweeted as well. Says Fabian Hertzler quotes confident Baleba will stay at Brighton this summer. Ruben Amorim also went in a press conference and said that Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, Jadon Sancho, and Anthony would all be reintegrated if they hadn't been sold, and he was very excited about that. You know, managers say shit in these press conferences. Whenever I do these press conference reactions with any quotes, you know, and obviously sometimes that's what we're here to do is analyze what they say. But so, the amount of stories you hear of managers, like after the fact and lost their job or whatever, they'll go, yeah, sometimes I just went into those press conferences and I just said anything. I didn't really care. Yeah. You know, I remember the quote about, it was Carl Robinson when he was with Sam Allardyce, when Big Sam came in for Leeds for 3 games and he got paid a huge amount of money to keep Leeds. You have 3 games to keep him up. And he tells the story that Big Sam goes into the press conference, sits down and does the quotes when he's like, I think I'm on the same level, if not better, than, you know, Guardiola, Klopp, Arteta, you know, better than all of them. And apparently Big Sam came out of it, went to Columns, went, you won't fucking believe what I just said. I sat down there, I told him I was better than Guardiola. I said I was better than Klopp and Arteta. I can't believe it. I went in there and I just said it. Yeah, they just say stuff. They just say stuff. Sometimes it's not even like that calculated. You can't. Yeah, I'm pretty confident. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, just go for it. I mean, I am surprised. I'm surprised that that's not doing the rounds across all the Man United aggregators, and I'm surprised. It's just come across my timeline. Like no one's really talking about it. It is quite significant that the manager and the reporter who's there, who's clearly getting that information from somewhere at Brighton, is saying that. No one seems to care. So watch this space, but. I mean, look, when you're trying to get the player, you do want to hear a little bit. You want to hear a little bit more like what Barber said the other day, which is, listen, we want players like that to stay, but, you know, the market and this, that. You want to hear more of that than he's happy here. He's not leaving. He's playing tomorrow, and he will be a Brighton player. You don't want to hear that. But just because that's been said, at the same time, it don't mean it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It don't mean it's going to happen. Let's get super chats out. Boneheart says, do you believe Baleba will happen yet, Fleck? #21. I don't know. I still think it's probably going to be too difficult to do, but I'm just enjoying the race and I like the intent that we're showing. Tabrez, big up to you, bro. Says, then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. And Clive, the designer. What flag is that? Someone in the chat. The African country.
Yeah.
Can you? Oh, you can't do that. Someone put in the chat. What flag is that? Oh, Zimbabwe. Is it Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe. That's what I was about to.
Zimbabwe flag.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I was going to say I don't think it was Cameroon. Zimbabwe. Okay. Big up to the Zimbabweans in the house.
I was going to say I was getting mixed up with my Z's. I was going with Zambia, and I thought I don't think so. Zambia's more green than that one.
Right. Yeah, well, big up to anyone from Zimbabwe. Shout out to the crew there. Linda says, morning, gents. Time for talk is over. To Amorim and the players, do your job, please. Win football matches. Very, very simple instructions and demands from Linda. One that I echo. Please just show us something and do your flipping jobs, man. Be ready for this. Daniel Luciano says, haha. I don't know why I care so much, but he was wrong about an additional Isak bid. And then Baleba bid imminent 2 days ago. Big up, don't trust him. Daniel's not having Indicala.
I know, yeah. Which is incredibly fair given the track record. Again, the law surrounding that account is that it's a parody of football Twitter for years. It's only because of the co-sign of David Ornstein, I suppose, and
it's changed it.
Yeah. Maybe we can looking at it, but it's totally fair to be like, well,
and essentially, this is a co-sign without a co-sign from Romano because he's saying, they're ready to approach. So Ash says, I believe the price of the player will also impact the player themselves at Man United. So for the sake of ruining players, I'll rather we leave Baleba alone. Wow, good for his career. Big Yo-Yo says, said a little Yo-Yo. Says, do you think Baleba will be in the matchday squad this weekend? Well, we've just been told he is, as long as he's fit.
Yeah.
And don't get excited like I was doing the other day when I went. I tell
This
you
is
what,
the thing.
yeah,
This
played
is
the
the
last
thing.
3 games. Injured, mate.
Yeah.
He's been injured. He has actually been injured.
And that's
So
also a
if we
thing
do
to
get him,
consider
you've
as
got
well.
to think-
Exactly. If we sign him, he might not play for a while because, you know, he's been out for ages. Yeah.
Yeah. Aminor says, Owen, not going to lie, United View and Fleck gaslighted me about Baleba. How did we do that?
Well, Flex, because you're out of order, mate. You're out.
I don't understand. What did we do?
I like the way I'm also part of United View, but my responsibility was not there.
Yeah, you're like, no, that was you. Yeah, it was you.
It was Flex. Yeah, it was Flex, yeah.
But yeah, okay, right. Okay, let's move on. How many likes we got actually? Where are we at?
We are 7 likes away from 500 likes. We've got over 2K watching. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Premier League starts tomorrow, folks. Starts tomorrow. Manchester United start their campaign on Sunday. Tonight. Starts tomorrow. Starts tonight. I'm thinking final one standing. Tonight. Premier League starts tonight. And I'll be live tonight on the Football Flex. 10 minutes before kickoff. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. So be sure to join me then. In fact, the streams are already set up. So you'll be redirected at the end of the stream. You can go there. You can subscribe. You can click the like button. And you can set a little reminder. So you can join me later on this evening. And maybe watch some shocks of Liverpool at Anfield. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Indeed. Jadon Sancho, though, first flex. He could be on his way out. We spoke about this earlier on. Kind of came out of nowhere yesterday because there's been so many reports linking him to Italian clubs this summer. I think a lot of people were a bit like, oh, well, I'll believe him when I see it when it comes to bids and what have you. But yesterday, Darmesh, I think, was the first to report it. Then Ben Jacobs, then Romano, then everyone was saying it, that he could be on his way to Roma. So much so that for Rich Romano saying that Roma are now confident to get the green light from Manchester United for a Jadon Sancho deal. There was a bit of confusion actually to what this deal was. A lot of people reported it as like a permanent transfer. Then it turned into, well, it's a loan with a £20 million obligation. And that's the best proposal United have received so far. Jadon Sancho's camp is in direct talks with Roma over salary, which really is the critical thing in all of this. It's not about Man United. Oh, will they or won't they accept it? They probably will. It's just a case of, will Jadon Sancho accept Roma? And can they find some kind of salary that will be acceptable to him? Now, the decision, as I said, is up to Jadon Sancho's camp. Romano also said that Sancho has opened doors. You see, that's peak Romano right there. That's three posts that all say the same thing. Yeah. But yes, he's opened doors to Roma. The proposal is worth a £20 million total package. It's a loan deal with an obligation to buy at easy conditions to activate the permanent deal. The only issue is when we hear that, of course, isn't it? We get a bit nervous when we go, we've kind of gone down the obligation route with Jadon before. And, you know, on top of that, you'd be like, but if his contract's expiring at the end of the season, why would Roma then accept an obligation for 20 million? Like,
well, man, they must trigger an extension.
Or is it one of those ones where it's like he literally has to play 5 games for Roma for it to be £20 million or something? You know what I mean? If they're saying easy, I don't know. I don't know. Or do they just, unlike the Chelsea deal, do they go, look, you have to agree a contract with Roma so that we don't even get into that situation where you have to negotiate at the end. There isn't an exit obligation. You know what I mean? There isn't an exit clause in that obligation. The obligation is an obligation. Maybe that is the case because, of course, the Chelsea deal happened in such a short period of time, right at the end of the window, that they were like, we just had to kind of get it over the line. So that's why we didn't have that's why Sancho didn't agree a contract with Chelsea. That's why this, that, and the other. So maybe it's because now they've got more time than it is a proper obligation, as opposed to what was really an option at Chelsea. But, you know, 20 million quid plus the 5 million we got from Chelsea, that's around the 25 million. Obviously, look, it's nowhere near the money we paid for him. He's been at United for a while. He's got a year left in his contract, so his book value is relatively low. And if you do, and then it's just over. Then the whole Sancho thing's just done, isn't it? It's done.
On. Never have to mention it ever again.
We get that money and we can move it on. Because then when we get even 25 million pounds, let's say we don't get Baleba, that is enough to go get someone else in this window. If we don't end up getting Baleba and it's, you know, a goalkeeper, you can get a keeper for 25 million quid. Absolutely.
Of course.
Go get someone, you know. And
that's what I'm saying about this Baleba thing. You kind of want it to be either over or happen as quickly as possible because, you know, we have shown our intent to go and spend or look at a deal that could cost this much. So there's money there. There's money there for a midfielder who costs a lot less and a goalkeeper, really. Let's be honest. We should still be getting 2 more in. If we don't get Carlos Baleba, I still think we should be getting 2 more in. It's just what it looks like if we don't get Baleba. Just quickly on that, now a few of the aggregators have said it's Shatter United District. They've put it up, and Ben Jacobs has put it up as well, that Enzo, Fabian Herzl, and now Romano has just tweeted that as well. Brighton manager Fabian Herzl on Carlos Baleba and Man United interest. I am very, very confident Baleba will stay with us. So I'm not going to lie. I know they say things, but he's quite public, isn't it? I don't know. Like, I know you've got to back your player and show the Brighton fans before the season starts that, but you can't be doing too much. You can't give too much assurances and then he ends up not staying and the fans get angry. So, but then again, the type of club they are, the fans would understand if the bid reached, if the bid reached 100 million and they come out and say, listen, as per our model, we couldn't turn down that money. And Carlos expressed that he really wanted to leave and that, we got what we deemed necessary for him. So I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Now there's a bit more public stuff from the actual club / the manager.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's looking a bit strong, but we'll see when the bid gets there. We'll see. It's not over yet, but I definitely don't think we get Wharton. There's no way we'll get Wharton. I don't think, if we don't get Baleba. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if we try and get someone else, or you just hold off on that position for a year, struggle because you've got the big event. You know what you want. That's the vision. You've planned for it, and try and get one off, if not 2 of them to next year. We have to wait and see. But
interestingly, because again, you never know how these things work out. Let me just get this up on the screen. I was just thinking, just out of interest, with these kind of things. What did they say before? With that Caicedo drama, here's an article from Simon Stone. It's on the 3rd of August, 2023. So just nearly a couple of years ago to the day, actually. And it says, Moises Caicedo, Brighton do not expect to sell this summer. Brighton expect that Moises Caicedo will still be at the club when the transfer window closes on the 1st of September. The midfielder has been subject to a series of bids from Chelsea following Arsenal's interest in January. No club has reached Brighton's valuation so far. They do not expect the situation to change. They're adamant they don't want to sell because Alexis McAllister went to Liverpool. Caicedo has been made aware of that stance, and Brighton do not believe it will be an issue. The player asked to leave the Seagulls. The player asked to leave the Seagulls in January amid interest from Arsenal. Brighton refused, and Caicedo signed a new contract in March that runs until 2027. This summer, Chelsea have had offers believed to be 70, 80 million rejected. Brighton qualified for the Europa League after finishing 6th in the Premier League last season. So that seems pretty calm and relaxed. That seems pretty calm and relaxed, doesn't it? That seems pretty calm and relaxed there. Yeah, we don't expect to sell.
Owen, down through the lens, down the line, put this in your house. That is real life good. You got it. That is why we are SJA winners. Because I've had a wobble. I've gone, I'll tell you what, I don't like the sound of that. That sounds a bit. And within seconds, Owen's gone, you wait 1 second there. This is real journalism here. And that is journalism. Tell you what, well, this is what they said in the lead up to Caicedo definitely staying. Owen, I'm back in. 100% all elite. Generational receipt keeping. I 100% pulled back in. Just like that. I was like, I don't know. That hurts to speaking so strongly. But you're right. You're right. And that deal happened. And it happened under those pretenses of we expect him to stay. Valuation's not been met. This, that, and the other. So if the valuation is met, also, we have to, like you say, don't talk out of both sides of our mouths. Now you've pulled me back in on this right side of the fence. If the valuation is met, what we do see with Brighton is that they do sell. So, yeah, I just did the biggest flip-flop you'll ever see in quick succession. I'm right back in. I am right back in. Give Owen his WWE belt, God damn it. No. There's certain metrics that have to be met. We can't be
I think I've kind of met him, so
no,
okay.
Absolutely not. No. Asho, I believe the price of the players. Oh, where was we? Was we here? Oh no, there you go. So after that, Asho, I believe the price of the no, we read that one. Big Yo-Yo, we read. Aminor says, we're not going to lie. No. So here we are. Kristen says, give Owen his belt. And Aminor says, please stop gaslighting regarding Baleba and getting my hopes up. Well, we're not gaslighting. We're just reporting the news. Herzl just said, I expect him to stay. Very, very confident. And Owen just found an article that is proof from Simon Stone himself, the legend, that when reporting on the Caicedo situation, they said these very same words. Going to stay comfortable, confident, etc., etc. So, yeah. But sorry, back to the Jadon Sancho situation. It's a really good point about, actually, I didn't think about it once because I was just so excited to see £20 million. But his contract does end. So how the hell does that work? Is it because you secured his services? No, but you pay a loan fee, then you have to pay an obligation to actually make them yours.
By the way, that article, that article
is there more?
Was on but it was on the 3rd of August. They said that Caicedo signed for Chelsea 11 days later. 11 days after that,
and that's after he already he had the medical at Liverpool, then he drove back. You know what I mean?
11 days later. That's all that was. 11 days. So a lot can happen in a short period of time in football. A lot. Very interesting.
A lot can happen. But yes, to Sancho. I don't know. Are they going to trigger? It didn't say that we've got an option. We would have known that by now. But how on earth are they paying £20 million with an obligation when at the end of that, where they got paid obligation, he's on a free? Sancho has a year option. He must do, innit?
Yeah, unless United trigger that with this understanding that it will definitely.
Yeah, you got to trigger it.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's risky, innit? Because then if you're stupid enough to make happen what Chelsea does, then you trigger the extension and he's still here, then you're in trouble.
But again, unless there's no wiggle room. Because again, I do think there was this kind of feeling of, well, it was because it was the last minute of the window. There were lots of things they just didn't get done, whereas that's not the case this time around. So it's just maybe it might be a thing of it becomes a complete obligation after 10 appearances, and there's no way Jadon Sancho doesn't make 10 appearances for Roma. They're not going to get him for 9 and then just hold him out, kind of thing. Maybe I'm not sure. So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho's contract with Man United was originally a 5-year deal signed in 21 with an option of a further year. This means the contract is set to expire in 26 with the potential to be extended to 27. Right, so he does have an option. Yeah, because you forget he's just on the same deal he was when he came here. He hasn't got an extension at all. So it's with the potential to be extended, right? So yeah, it was loans obligation to buy over Chelsea decided to send him back. Man United pay £5 million penalty. Yeah, so he's got an option. So basically, we'll send him on loan, and obligation becomes active when he plays FIFA in Rome. Yeah, we'll just add on. You just send him off and trigger it, don't you? Or trigger it halfway through to make sure he's played or something like that. There's probably after he plays 15 games or whatever it is, we'll trigger the extension. And then, get the money that way, which makes sense. Just quickly turn our attention to Arsenal because we have been building up to it, but the preview
very quickly, Flex. Very quickly, just before we do get to the Arsenal one. Going back to this to this Carlos Baleba stuff, Samuel Lucas from the Manchester Evening News has just said that Manchester United are prepared to delay a move for Carlos Baleba until next year. The club have not completely given up on signing him before the transfer window closes on September 1st, but senior sources concede a deal is unlikely. Which again, that's not that much of an update, is it? Because that is still we think it's unlikely. We think it's really unlikely, which is what David Ornstein said a couple of days ago. Which again was why this whole improbable, unlikely, but at the same time, it's still. It's kind of as you were then, isn't it?
Are we still believing
again? Have you flipped again? I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to keep him. I'm trying to keep him believing. I'm trying.
Okay, here's my final thing on it. Here is my final thing on it. Until it's over, it's not over.
Right.
Until it's dead in the water, there's a chance. I do think I would agree with the words unlikely and not probable, improbable. I do agree with those words. But like you say, until a bid goes in, let's see if a bid goes in.
I want to ask the chat now. Ask the chat percentages. Percentages. Put your percentages in the chat. Out of 100 percentages, folks. I'll be interested to see what percentages we get from people here. And obviously, look, between 0 and 100%, that's a lot of percentages. Skilliana's gone with 20. 30. There's a 5. 20. 65. Got a 65. Got a 50. 25. 30. Got, of course. 1%. 100%. 15 from Amanor. Pav's going with 99. I tell you, it was quite interesting.
Don't believe that.
There's a couple that are still very high. Like, yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
20%.
I tell you what, it's way more mixed than I thought it was going to be. I
don't know if people are trolling. I don't know.
No, yeah, but when obviously with the the silly ones, but there's a lot of actually 80, 50, sort of 20. It is a real mixture. A real mixture there. It's not even like, there's loads of high ones, there's loads of low ones. There's also loads of just like middle ones. I've gone for about 50%, a little bit over 60. That is interesting.
It is close.
No one really knows what to think. That's quite curious.
No, exactly. Armchair. Happy Independence Day to India. When they got their independence from Britain. Is that I didn't know that was today. Big up. If there's any Indians celebrating Independence Day, is that true? Is that Independence Day for India today? You just check that one, right?
Independence Day is today. Yes, that being Friday, the 15th of August, 2025.
Big up to everybody in India celebrating your independence, or any Indians who are here in Britain celebrating your independence, or around the world, Indians around the world celebrating your independence as well. So big up to you, big up to everyone. When will we be free from the Glazers? Yeah, I don't know when the Independence Day will come from the Glazers, that's for sure. But big up to everyone in India or from India who is celebrating that today. Right, so we've covered Baleba, we've covered Sancho. Also, the halftime with Vegeta says, I am 95% sure, no troll. I am a believer. United don't engage if they don't think they can. Plus, the sponsorship helps. Okay, you're going for it, but we've engaged to find out. You know what I mean? We've engaged to find out. So we shall see. We shall see. Right, guys, big up to each and every single one of you. We'll be back later on. Of course, the Trinity will be later on. The Premier League season starts tonight. And let's go, man. The Arsenal game is just...
It's there. It's there. I saw the preview yesterday with you and Robbie. It was quite interesting, actually. I thought it was quite interesting. I thought Arsenal were going to be talking with a bit more chest, and maybe they are.
He's quite worried. He doesn't want to play us first game. So from views from the 15th, where we're awful banter over, incredibly nervous.
Yeah, I
should be like easy. Dust them down, get that out of the way. Go Old Trafford, dust them down. But they're not saying that.
If we were to win on Sunday, obviously the lift that would give us, Old Trafford would be rocking of just like, last season was last season. Ruben said good times were coming back, and yes, and also the meltdown from AFTV would be on another level. It would be like they finished 15th and they turned us over. Arteta, he can't get us over the line. It'd be amazing.
And it's only one game. It's like the beginning of the season, but it's because the first bit of the season is so tough for them. I think they got Liverpool in a couple of games. If they lose against them, lose against us, you're 6 points off already. Then
in terms of their season, in terms of their season, it does have a big impact. Like you say, if you lose a couple of games, you're out of the title race already, aren't you? Whereas for us, if we lost that game, it doesn't have a big impact on our season. We still have a very successful season. We lost one game, against a good team,
especially in the manner of how as well. If it was tight and lost with 1-0, you start going, listen, it happens, innit? We go again. I'm actually really pleased. If people can take positives from it, I tell you what, though, Cunha and Bumo, they looked good. Just good save from Real, a good team. Now, that's against Gabriel and Saliba as well. Against everyone else, do you know what I mean? The narratives are different. But if it's a pummeling, you just get rinsed. It's like, got all these players. Ruben, you had the whole summer. I haven't seen anything. That was worse than last season. Do you know what I mean? You don't want that. You don't want that. So, All right, guys, smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Loads to come from you today. Content on the Football Flex. So make sure you go and subscribe to that. And, of course, the Trinity later on as well. Take care, people. We're out of here. Peace.